All right, Chiefs Kingdom, let's talk about the newest name in our defensive end room, Janarius Robinson. You might be asking yourself, wait, who? And honestly, that's fair. But by the end of this video, I promise you'll have an opinion on whether this guy deserves a shot or not. So let's start at the beginning. Janarius Robinson came out of Florida State with real hype. At 6'5", 260 pounds, this guy looked every bit the prototype edge rusher. Long arms, explosive off the line, and a motor that, scouts believed, just needed the right coaching to unlock. He had that raw athleticism that NFL teams love to mold. That's why the Minnesota Vikings used a fourth-round pick on him in the 2021 draft. And you know how it goes. Fourth-rounders aren't always expected to shine right away, but they're definitely seen as pieces with upside. For Robinson, that upside was supposed to come from his blend of speed and size. Scouts loved his bend around the edge, and when he flashed, it was clear. The tools were there. Let me ask you this. How much stock do you put into college tape when judging a player like this? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you still believe in potential, even if it hasn't surfaced in the league yet? Now, back at Florida State, he wasn't exactly racking up crazy sack numbers, but he was disruptive. He commanded attention from offensive lines. And in a scheme that didn't always play to his strengths, that says something. The physical tools? Absolutely. The instincts? Developing. But the ceiling? Still high, even now. So here's a quick poll for you. Based on his college profile and draft status alone, would you have taken a chance on him? Would you draft Janarius Robinson in the 4th round based on his college career? Yes? No? Maybe we're talking about a guy who's been flying under the radar, but that doesn't mean he's done. In fact, his story is only just starting to unfold. So you've got this athletic, long-armed defensive end with all the tools, drafted by the Vikings. And you're thinking, all right, when does the breakout happen? Well, not so fast. Janarius Robinson's NFL journey hit a wall before it even began. He missed his entire rookie season in Minnesota due to a leg injury. And that's not just unfortunate, it's critical. That first year in the league is when most young players start developing NFL habits, adjusting to pro-level speed and proving themselves in practice reps. For Robinson, that entire development year was gone. Now let's keep it real. Missing your rookie year is rough, but it happens. So what came next? Year 2, 2022. Robinson spends most of the season on the Vikings practice squad. No real snaps, no film, just grinding behind the scenes. Then the Philadelphia Eagles sign him to their active roster in September. That could have been the moment, right? A fresh start on a team with a strong defensive identity. But again, nothing. Robinson didn't play a single down in Philly. Not one. So now, 2 full seasons in, the NFL, and he's still waiting to make his debut. No real game tape, no chance to prove himself under the lights. You've got to wonder, was it just bad timing, or was he not showing enough in practice to stick? Fast forward to August 2023, he lands with the Las Vegas Raiders. Finally, in Week 12, Janarius makes his NFL debut against none other than the Kansas City Chiefs. Yep, his first taste of NFL action was against us. Over 2 seasons in Vegas, he played in 16 games, starting just 3. His stat line? 13 total tackles, 1.5 sacks. Not headline material, but hey, he was finally on the field. Reps on the field, his off-field decisions were about to overshadow all of it. Let's rewind to December of last season. The NFL hit Robinson with a suspension, 3 games, for violating the league's substance abuse policy. That's already serious. Teams value availability and discipline, and a late-season suspension doesn't exactly help your standing, especially when you're fighting for a permanent spot on a roster. But that wasn't all. In February of this year, Robinson was arrested in Las Vegas. According to reports, he was charged with a misdemeanor, DUI, after allegedly striking a woman with his vehicle. Look, I'm not here to play judge and jury, but But we can't ignore this. It's a big deal, and it puts a spotlight on the Chiefs' decision to sign him. Let me bring you in here. Do you think teams should steer clear of players with legal trouble even if they're low-risk signings? Or do second chances still matter in a league like the NFL? Drop your take in the comments. I'm genuinely curious where you stand on this. This kind of situation creates tension, not just for the coaching staff, but for the locker room. Chemistry matters, especially in Kansas City, where culture and leadership have played a huge role in building a dynasty. The question now becomes, will bringing in Robinson disrupt that? Or is this just another redemption story waiting to be written? And let's not forget, Chiefs Kingdom has been through this before. We've seen players come in with red flags and turn things around, so it's not unheard of. But each case is different, and this one's still fresh. Here's a quick poll to weigh in on. Should the Chiefs give second chances to players with recent off-field issues? Yes, no, depends on the player and situation. At the end of the day, every player comes with some risk. But the real question is, does Robinson's upside outweigh the baggage? And speaking of upside, let's shift the focus back to football. Because when it comes to what Janarius Robinson can bring to this defense, well, that's where things get interesting. All right, let's talk football. Because no matter what happened off the field, the Chiefs brought Janarius Robinson in for a reason, and that reason lives on the edge of the defensive line. So what does he actually bring to the table? Let's start with the physical profile. Robinson's still 6'5", 260 pounds with long arms and an above-average burst. That kind of frame doesn't grow on trees. You can't teach size and explosiveness. What coaches can teach is technique, and that's where his potential starts to look interesting. Now, on tape, especially from his time with the Raiders, you'll notice flashes. He's got a decent first step, and when he's confident, he can collapse the edge with real power. The problem is consistency. He's not stringing together multiple dominant reps, but again, he's only got 16 games under his belt. He's still figuring out the rhythm of pro ball. So where could he fit in this Chiefs defense? Right now, he's not walking in to replace George Karlaftis or Charles Omenihu. Let's be clear on that. But as a rotational piece, especially in those early down sets where you want length to control the edge, that's where Robinson could carve out a role. Think third or fourth DE in the rotation, maybe a situational pass rusher on long downs. Now imagine this. Chris Jones demands a double team inside. Karlaftis is crashing one edge, and suddenly you've got Robinson lined up wide, fresh legs, coming off the corner with that wingspan. You starting to see the picture? Let me throw it to you. What's more important in a backup edge rusher? Raw tools or proven production? Drop your opinion below. Here's another quick vote. Do you think Robinson will play meaningful snaps for the Chiefs this season? Yes? No. Only if there are injuries. There's also special teams value to consider. Guys like Robinson, with length and athleticism, can be weapons in kick block units. So don't be surprised if you see him show up on a few key plays even if he's not a core, part of the D-line. Bottom line, he's a low-risk signing with a high-ceiling frame, and if the Chiefs can unlock even some of that upside, it might just pay off. And that brings us to the big question, the one that only you can answer. All right, Chiefs Kingdom, now it's your turn. We've broken down who Janarius Robinson is, what he's been through, and what he might bring to this team. But the real question is, was this a smart move by the Chiefs? Think about it. You've got a guy who's battled injuries, bounced around teams, and made some serious mistakes off the field. But he also checks a lot of boxes physically, and he's still only 25. That's young. He's got time to turn things around, if he wants it bad enough, and if the culture in Kansas City can help shape him. We've seen this team take chances before. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. But the Chiefs aren't bringing him in to be a star. They're bringing him in to compete, to push the depth chart, to maybe surprise. people. So let me ask you, straight up, do you think Janarius Robinson deserves this shot with the Chiefs? Drop a comment and let me know. Be honest, be real. This is where Chiefs Kingdom gets loud. And don't forget, vote in the poll below so we can see where the fan base stands on this one. Was signing Janarius Robinson the right move for KC? Yes? No. Too early to tell. Also, if you've got another name in mind, someone you think the Chiefs should have signed instead, call it out in the comments. Let's get the debate going. If you enjoyed this breakdown and want more news like this, make sure to hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and join the kingdom every week right here on Total Chiefs. Because one thing's for sure, we don't just follow this team, we live it. Now let's see what Robinson does next.